why does it feel like people stop the world from getting better and the world also stops people from getting better? Because human nature sets the limit for how good life can be around us, and yet the way life is built is shaped exactly by the limits on how people can grow. So they keep each other trapped, and that's why this is such a powerful question, because it means we can't just wait for society to change. And likewise, we can't wait for people to change either. Both are intertwined together. Both are locked together. So the real challenge is figuring out where we can push first, where we can probably break the cycles, and so both people and the world around them can rise at the same time. That was what I asked our friend ChatGPT. And the conversation has been quite crazy. So I'm going to share it with you, and then we'll go down a rabbit hole. So I shared with it basically that human nature obviously sets a ceiling for how high society can go, right? And then the vice versa is true, okay? It then said, people can only be as good as the world lets them be. The world can only be as good as people let it be. They stop each other unless we change it. Then I asked it to spruce it up a bit, and it said, the limits of society are set by human nature, and the limits of human growth are set by society. They restrict each other unless we make the choice to stop the cycle. The potential of society cannot rise higher than the limits of human nature, while the growth of human nature cannot extend beyond the structures of society. Both act as ceilings on each other, holding progress in tension until a conscious choice is made to disrupt that cycle. I then asked it to unpack the logic, right? And the logic for me is quite interesting. Okay. So, the logic is that human behavior limits how good society can be, and society's systems limit how much people can grow. Each influences the other. Society mirrors human nature, and human nature develops inside society's conditions. Improvement in one requires improvement in the other. When human flaws, greed, fear, selfishness, shape society, they create systems that reinforce those same flaws. Equally, when society's systems are unjust and limited, they restrict the growth of empathy, creativity, or wisdom in individuals. Neither side can surpass the ceiling set by the other. Society cannot become more compassionate than its people allow, and people cannot become more expansive than society enables. Because both set limits on each other. I got that one badly wrong, but because both set limits on each other, progress gets locked into a cycle. This explains why societies plateau, decline, or repeat patterns of inequality, corruption, or violence. The cycle only breaks when a conscious choice is made to transform either human nature through awareness, inner work, education, or society through reform, culture, and new systems. Disrupting one lifts the ceiling of the other higher. This basically creates a paradox. Society and human nature are both the problem and the solution. The highest potential for humanity requires a simultaneous raising of both ceilings. Developing inner human qualities, compassion, wisdom, creativity, while building external systems that support and amplify those qualities. Until both shifts together, the cycle repeats indefinitely. That's quite something. That's quite something. So what I want to now do is have a discussion with ChatGPT, and let's see where it goes. Sorry, I decided to disconnect from my speaker.
No worries at all.
Okay, so this paradox of society and human nature, that both are the problem and the solution, and that different choices need to be made to shift. Based on my understanding and where we're at and how I see the world, I'd say that being able to shift human nature, so bringing awareness, bringing inner work, bringing self-knowledge, bringing understanding oneself, understanding that we identify with ourselves so strongly because it's ourselves, right? We are it. But at the same time, to know that we have been conditioned, to know that the experiences that we've faced in the past and how we've interpreted them, and then the actions that we've taken after them, the way we framed it, the way we've labeled it, has made us who we are today. So it's literally like a question of, do we want to continue to be the kind of person that has the fears, the worries, the concerns, the limiting beliefs, the self-deprecation, the critical inner voice, the fears of judgment, of failure, of all of that? Do we want that shaped by a previous version of ourselves when we were just figuring stuff out? We didn't want to necessarily fail. We just wanted it to work. We didn't know how. We did our best and we got to where we've got to. But we've evolved since then. We've become wiser since that period of time. And because we've become wiser, surely we should start to understand ourselves and understand the person that we actually want to be, the version of ourselves that we actually want. Do we want to be reactive all the time? Do we want to be stressed out and not passionate within our workplace and not fully in love in our relationships and not being able to find love in a relationship? Like, there's so many people in the world that are on dating apps trying to find love, trying to find connection. Like, surely by understanding oneself, you can do the inner work that can transform how you show up in society, which will elevate society. Surely that's the first domino to fall. I want you to explore that, but I also want you to critique and see if maybe I've got a warped perspective. It says release when done talking, and I did do that. So hopefully it works. Because I felt like that was quite a decent way to build up to it and to the question, and it's something I'm actually very intrigued by. These are the types of thoughts that just enter my head, and I go down these like perspectives and these streams of thinking, and I really want to be able to understand that and then try and make the impact in the world that I believe the world needs. That could be arrogance, that could be ego, that could be whatever it is, right? But to be able to at least give others a chance to become aware of the importance, in my belief, the importance of knowing yourself, because you are yourself. You are there through your highest highs, your lowest lows, through every moment. That's you. Surely it should be important to understand you in a greater context, and then to be able to fall in love with yourself, like not hate on yourself, and respect yourself, and show up for yourself, and go after whatever you want to go after in the world, because you are able to do it if you put in the work and you put in the time, and you remove all the limiting beliefs. Like, go after it. You might not get to the first place in the world, but you might be so fulfilled and actually enjoy life. And then realize it's not about being number one in the world. It's not about that order system at all. It truly is about connection, and connection with yourself. Yeah, so that's my thinking. This is still not really working. So that's a bummer. But yeah. What I'll do actually is I will record that back. I'll try get that question asked into ChatGPT, and then yeah, maybe what I can do is I can put the answer that it spat out in the description below this video. And yeah, if you want to continue the conversation, go with it. Put it into your own prompt and see what delivers, and see where you get to. I'd be very, very interested to know your take on this, your perspective on this, and how you see this happening. And I would have loved to go into like the the initial steps. What's the lowest hanging fruit that we would be able to find as a society to make these changes and to get people to be aware. And then I'd equally like to understand what are the limits that are being placed on society that don't allow that thinking to take place, or that evolution, that awareness, that self-knowledge that people actually need to know about to add depth to their lives, to add meaning, to find purpose, to find value, to curb mental, physical, spiritual health crises that are happening and continue to happen until something gets done about it and we prioritize different things as a society. But that's a choice up to us as well. And we're not going to make that choice when society is pushing towards things that they dangle in front of us, that brands dangle in front of us, that the attention that people want. Like I've got my own company as well. Like I'm one and the same. Although my intention and my values are very different. I have one of the most affordable companies within the industry, and that's the way that my co-founder and myself wanted to maintain that, is we wanted to make coaching, self-knowledge, affordable and accessible to anyone. And we've also got a pro bono where coaches just spend time with you. We've got our vetted coaches. They're all accredited. Like, I'm not trying to punt that. I'm just giving color to this, because as much as I know that money, like wealth and fame and all these things, obviously from a perspective look attractive, But at the same time, I've sat in rooms with billionaires, with celebrities, with game changers of the industries, with creatives, I've sat in the same rooms with them. And then I've also worked at some top corporates in the world. The thing that it comes down to is knowing yourself, loving yourself, and evolving with yourself in a way that you want to evolve. That's how you find connection with yourself, and that's the most important thing. It's not what shoes you've got or what car you've got. Like, those things, after a period of time, those things don't hold value anymore. You can feel it on any level that you're at, where you've bought something that maybe was quite expensive, and you might feel like the joy or the protection of that or whatever, it starts to fade away, and that's just natural. And then we're after the next thing. That's consumer behavior. That's how we've been bred as a society, and that's where we're moving as a society. And whatever gains your attention is going to be some of the most profitable companies in the world. Is attention, usership, attention, solving problems, yes, etc., but it's attention. So I'd love to know, like, I really do think society at large, and our leaders and teachers and entrepreneurs and mentors and business, like, everybody needs to become aware of the importance of knowing yourself and taking care of others. And that's where I wanted to go with this, to see how we could do that. But yeah, I'll put that in the description. I was waffling there for a bit. But yeah, to those that watch this, thank you. I appreciate it, because I don't know how many views or how many people would actually see this. But if it can impact, or it can speak into your life where you're encouraged to do something for you, to take time for you, to attempt doing something that you've always feared but you really want, no matter if you fall on your face, like, whatever it is, if it inspires you or it unlocks something for you, or you get wisdom out of it, or you get curious and you want to go further and deeper along than I have, and you find joy within that, whatever it is, I hope that it's left some sort of imprint, some sort of mark on you. And yeah, thank you.